Hi, my name is Puya Safarzadeh, Puya Safar. I'm the chair of the paralegal program at the California University of Management and Sciences. And I'd like to take a little bit of time to explain our program today and why I think that becoming a paralegal is an excellent choice for your future. The first thing to know about the California University of Management and Sciences is that we have a great scholarship available. For any student that applies by the end of September 2014, you qualify for an automatic 50% off of the course tuition. And this applies to all students. So this is a great incentive for this quarter alone to sign up to the paralegal program. A couple of points that I'll be mentioning throughout the presentation are that only practicing attorneys will be teaching the courses in the paralegal program. So you know that you'll be learning from experts in the field. We also have a 3-month internship after the first year of the program so that you will get hands-on experience in the type of work that you'll be doing as a paralegal in the field. And finally, there will be small classes and individual attention given to every student. One thing that we really pride at Cal UMS is that you're not taught in a huge lecture hall with hundreds of students. Every class will be limited to no more than 10 or so students so that you have personal, individual attention given to you. The first thing I want to discuss is you may be asking, what is a paralegal and what does a paralegal do specifically and how does it compare to an attorney? A paralegal is a person who works in a law office under the close supervision of an attorney. There are many tasks that a paralegal does. The task that a paralegal does is, for example, preparing for trial, conducting legal research, drafting legal documents, and writing legal briefs and memoranda. So essentially, a paralegal can do nearly any task that an attorney can do except representing clients in courts. That's why paralegals are so valuable in the legal system of the United States. Now the next question is, where can a paralegal work? Well, first, paralegals can assist attorneys in corporations, private law firms, administrative agencies, government organizations, and other types of agencies like that. And second, you can work in a paralegal office by yourself. You can set up your own paralegal office. So the great thing about paralegal is you have the independence to not only work as part of a larger law firm or you can be part of a team, but you can also open up your own practice. And there's a high demand for that as well. Opening up a private paralegal practice, as I mentioned. How much can a paralegal earn, right? Everyone wants to know what the incentives are for earning a paralegal degree. Well, the average salary for paralegals in California is quite high. Paralegals in California make over $60,000 a year. So that's quite a sizable salary. However, if you are in the top 10% of paralegals, and certainly having an associate's degree, having a 2-year degree, as well as having the internship experience, having the close working relationship with the faculty that we have, will really put you at the top of a paralegal, as well as the testing that we assist you with to get NALA certification, which we'll talk about in a second. By having those types of incentives, you can actually make $75,000 a year or more. And the perspective for being a paralegal is quite high. According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, the employment of paralegals is projected to grow 22% between 2006 and 2016, much faster than the average for all occupations. So actually, at a time when many jobs are losing jobs and there's a recession in much of the economy, the perspective for paralegals is quite high. And why are paralegals in demand? The reason why paralegals are in such demand is that paralegals can handle most of the same tasks as attorneys. As I mentioned earlier, really the only thing that a paralegal cannot do, that an attorney can do, is represent clients in court. And so paralegals, even though they're much more cost effective than an attorney, can pretty much handle the same tasks that attorneys handle. And areas such as bankruptcy law, immigration law, landlord-tenant law, and civil litigation are very paper intensive, meaning that there's a lot of writing and a lot of paperwork that needs to be done. And these are areas that paralegals can greatly assist, because law firms would much rather have a paralegal do these type of paper-intensive areas of law than an attorney. They'd rather have attorneys work on preparing for courts. And finally, many law firms are choosing to hire paralegals over attorneys because it is more cost effective. Most attorneys, because of the much more education that's required and much higher tuition that they have to pay and having to pass the bar exam, cost a lot more money than paralegals. So paralegals are much more cost effective to hire in law firms, and they can do much of the same tasks. So during this recession especially, many law firms are deciding to hire paralegals. So there's a great demand for it. There are a couple of significant legal issues that I really think are great areas for the reason why paralegals are going to become much more in demand. The first is the healthcare law, which was passed a couple years ago, known as the Affordable Care Act. The Affordable Care Act is literally hundreds of pages long, and it has thousands of pages of regulations that need to be implemented by government agencies. And where paralegals come into play is that the paralegals can assist in implementing these healthcare regulations that were passed. The next area is obviously immigration. Immigration is extremely paper intensive. It's an area where there are just form after form after form that you have to fill out. And the DREAM Act that was passed a couple years ago is a law that gives some type of legalized status to individuals who originally came here without documents, but who later went to school or joined the military. And that's one type of area where paralegals are used a lot to fill out all of the forms. Another area of law, even though it hasn't passed yet, is on the horizon within the next couple of years. There's a great likelihood that there will be comprehensive immigration reform that is passed. And once comprehensive immigration reform is passed, there's going to be an extremely high demand for paralegals to help implement the immigration laws. And the last area of law where you see a really high demand for paralegals is in international law. In international law, you see many different types of laws, whether it's with the United Nations or Amnesty International or other human rights organizations. You see an extremely high demand for paralegals who can help assist implementing all of these laws. Finally, why is a legal education important? Well, the law really has an effect on every aspect of your life, whether it's tax laws, criminal laws, speeding tickets, anything like that. You really are exposed to the legal system in every part of your life, whether you like it or not. So, understanding the law is a good way to protect yourself in your everyday life. As a professor, I get a lot of questions from students, even who are renting places near me, talking about landlord-tenant law. They're talking about, oh, my landlord took my security deposit, or I'm having an issue with a landlord who's not making repairs. What do I do? Well, if you understand the law, you know how to protect yourself. You know what your rights are. You know what you can and cannot do, how you, for example, approach the police in a criminal context. All of these things are very important in your everyday life. Again, as I mentioned, it's very helpful. And the study of the U.S. Constitution and federal and state laws is really important to an appreciation of living in America, an appreciation of the political system, of the legal system, of the constitutional system. By studying it, you really learn to appreciate these are my rights to free speech, why we have them in this country and, for example, not in other countries. It really gives you an appreciation and an enjoyment of your citizenship in the United States. And why you should get an associate's degree. Well, when you have an associate's degree, which is a 2-year degree, it makes you more competitive in the job market and more likely to find a job as a paralegal as opposed to those who do not have an associate's degree. I mean, law firms occasionally hire what are called legal assistants. And legal assistants do some activities, some clerical work, but what legal assistants don't have is really that expertise and that experience and that job training that you receive from getting a 2 years associate's degree. So things that we do in the program, like the internship program, where we set you up with local law offices in the area and give you hands-on training on the types of activities you're going to be doing, types of the one-on-one attention that you're going to be getting from actual professors in the field who are going to be your faculty members, the close attention that you get with your fellow students. These are things that are going to put your resume really on the top of the list when you apply to work. That's why it's so important to have an associate's degree, and really in a job market that is still very difficult, that still many people are struggling. A job where even attorneys are even applying to jobs as paralegals because it's so difficult to get a job. Really having that associate's degree is what distinguishes you from everyone else who's applying. Now the Assistant Dean, Sasha Zadeh, is going to help talk about what some of the reasons why you would want to study in California and some of the highlights that we have in the local area. And then at the end of the presentation, we're going to save about 20 minutes of time to talk about questions, any questions that you have. So please save those. Thank you. So why study in California? California has the largest GDP of all 50 states of the United States. So capita per income, income per capita, California has the highest GDP. The state's economy is one of the largest in the world, topping many countries out there. It has a very large business and legal community in Orange County and Los Angeles with a need for qualified paralegals. California has one of the largest job markets in the United States, and there's many opportunities for you to find great jobs in the in California. So, how is life in Southern California? Well, in the city we are, Anaheim, you can snowboard and surf during the same day. So there's great mountains just half hour away, including beaches like Laguna Beach that you can surf during the same day. So you can go whale watching during the day and paddle during the night. There's Newport Beach, which has amazing whale watching, and you can paddle during the night as well. You can spend the day on the beach. There's beautiful Laguna Beach with its art festivals and amazing restaurants and stores, and you can spend the day on the beach and just have a relaxing, nice time. And you can become a part of the huge music festival. We have music festivals such as Coachella, we have the Hollywood Bowl, we have the Verizon Amphitheater. All of these are great events where great musicians come and perform for live audiences. You can go wild and visit national parks in California. We have Yosemite National Park and many others that you can just enjoy the wilderness. So Orange County is CalUMS's home. With the population of the county is more than 3 million people. The county is famous because of tourism and the most beautiful beaches on the West Coast. The county is the headquarters for many Fortune 500 companies which are constantly hiring paralegals for their jobs.
Let me introduce you to Anaheim, which is Cal UMS's headquarters. Disneyland, which is only one freeway exit away, is one of the top amusement parks in the world and is located in the city of Anaheim, which we're located in. Knott's Berry Farm is also 5 minutes away that has a lot of different attractions and a water park as well. We have Angels Stadium, which is another 5 minutes away, that has the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim, a professional Major League Baseball team. Cal UMS is just 40 minutes driving distance from downtown Los Angeles and 1.5 hours from San Diego. So two amazing cities in Southern California where you could have a great time during the day or night just walking around town and checking out all the local businesses that have great things to do. Let me explain to you California University of Management and Sciences. The university was organized in 1998 and operates in Anaheim, California. In the pictures there, you can see our library and computer lab, which are really great assets to our university. The university offers an associate degree in paralegal, bachelor and master's degrees in business administration, international management, information system, and others. Cal UMS is licensed to operate by the Bureau of Private Post-Secondary Education of the state of California. And Cal UMS is accredited by ACICS to award certificate, associate, bachelor, master's, and doctorate degrees. Many students have already graduated from Cal UMS, so join the university to reach success in the future. Now I'll pass it over to Puya, and he'll explain Cal UMS and the paralegal program more.
Okay, thank you, Sasha. So I want to just talk about why studying at Cal UMS is enjoyable. As you can see in some of these photos, we do a lot of social events every quarter where you really get to know your fellow students. So studying at Cal UMS is more like a family than it really is a school. You have so many opportunities. We go to local amusement parks, local miniature golf areas, different cultural events, local cultural events, the local places like Nixon, Richard Nixon Library, Disneyland. There's so many great areas. That shows a laser tag event that we had recently. So every quarter at a bare minimum, or actually several times a quarter, we do different events for like Halloween, different types of events that we have throughout the year. It's really more of a community than it is just straight study. Okay, so that's one thing we really value at Cal UMS. Then specifically talking about the paralegal program, the program covers major legal subjects preparing students to become highly professional individuals. So the paralegal program itself is actually structured very much so like law school. You're going to be introduced to some of the major topics that you're going to be practicing as a paralegal, and you're going to be exposed to all of them so that when it's time for you to graduate and apply to jobs, you're going to have experience in contracts, you're going to have experience in property law, you're going to have experience in torts. Basically any type of law firm that you go to, you're not going to be saying, I've never been exposed to that area of law, I've never practiced, I've never prepared anything. And the great thing about the paralegal program, and what makes it even better than many other paralegal programs and even law school, is that it's not just theoretical. It's not just classroom learning. Even inside of the classroom learning, you have the attorneys who are going to be your faculty members are going to assist you in preparing those same documents that you're going to be preparing as a paralegal. So for example, in your bankruptcy class, you're not just going to be learning about abstract bankruptcy concepts, you're actually going to be preparing bankruptcy petitions. You're going to be preparing Chapter 7 petitions. You're going to be preparing Chapter 13 petitions. So it gives you a level of expertise leaving this program that other similar students will not have. Again, more information about the paralegal program. The education is focused on practical training and includes development of paralegal-related job skills through collaboration with practitioners in the field of law. Again, the individuals who are going to be your professors who are going to be teaching you are actually practicing attorneys in the field of law. Cutting-edge case studies. We're going to introduce you to cases which are recent cases, which are cases that are going to help you in your studying, and that are cases that are going to help you in when you actually go out to play. And one interesting thing about the way that we teach the paralegal program is that we incorporate many techniques of the Socrates method, the Socratic method. And the Socratic method involves integrating student participation in the classroom. So there will be some straight lecture where the faculty member gives you just some straight black letter law. They give you the law. But also we're going to ask for your interpretation of cases. So students have to be prepared and do the reading, and students will be called on to give their interpretation of the reading, their interpretation of the material, so that students take an active role in participating with the lectures. Actually filling in documents. As I mentioned before, in a bankruptcy case, you're going to be doing actual documents. You're going to be preparing actual documents. The same thing with family law courses. The same thing with landlord-tenant documents. And these documents don't change much from year to year. So you know that if you filled out one petition, you can fill out another petition when it's time for you to actually practice. And another thing we like to do is we like to take field trips to courts and local law firms. So by taking these field trips to courts, you can kind of understand how real life practice as an attorney or a paralegal is. You can see, you know, how it is to interact with a judge, both good and bad. You'll see what judges are nice, what judges aren't so nice, and how you really have to act when a judge isn't so nice to you. You can see how other attorneys handle court, how other attorneys handle working in a law firm. You can ask questions of them. So you really get an idea of how it is to practice as an actual paralegal before you even graduate from our program. And finally, something that we're very proud of is our internship program. We have 240 units of internship, which we'll talk about a little bit more down the line in the presentation. But that internship really gives you that practical experience that is so lacking in many other schools. It gives you that ability to go out there, go into the real world, and actually partner up with local law firms and work there and earn experience. And even though it is an unpaid internship, you do get units that go towards your graduation. So it is not only useful for the course, which you'll need to graduate, but you'll also get experience that'll be invaluable. Most students will say that that'll be the most important part of their education. And lastly, and very importantly, is legal software training. There are certain programs, such as Best Case in the area of bankruptcy, which are fundamental programs that are used. In research, there's Westlaw as well, which is another software. So what we will do is we will train you in the main software that is used in the legal field. So again, when you go there and you're hired as a paralegal, from day one, you can contribute as a paralegal in the field without having to learn the software. And finally, preparatory classes for certification. We'll discuss this a little bit in the future, but another thing that will put your resume really on the top of the list is something called NALA certification, which is the National Association of Legal Assistants. And that what NALA does is, it's just a certification which gives you kind of qualifications as saying, I took an exam, I got an extra degree of understanding as a paralegal that other people that graduated with me do not have. And what we will do is we will prepare you in the school itself to take the test, to take that NALA test and put that on your resume and give you a heads up among the other students in the class. Cal UMS Paralegal Program. So again, you will learn hands-on training from attorneys in the field on how to prepare documents, and more importantly, to know why you are preparing documents in a certain way. So we don't want to just teach you, fill in the name here, do this here, do this here. No, we want to actually teach you the reasoning behind why you're doing what you're doing, and I think that's very important. So when you're ready to practice as a paralegal, you'll understand the concepts at a deep level. You will not just have memorized the concepts. You will have understood the material at a deep level so that when you actually see those same exact documents in your job, you'll be immediately ready to do well on them. And the other thing we're very proud of at Cal UMS is our dedication to students. I know a lot of colleges say that, but really at Cal UMS we mean it. We're dedicated to ensuring success both during their time in school and after graduation. So during school, both the faculty, the administration, and the staff at Cal UMS really have an open door policy, not only with the deans like Sasha Zadeh, but also with the faculty like myself and the chairs of the programs. What we really do is we have an open door policy. During any time at our office hours, and we're often here after our office hours or other times that are not scheduled office hours, you can simply come in, talk to us not only about the school, but about how things are going in your life, how things are going, with other things about your career and things like that. This is something that we're very dedicated to our students. And the reason why we're able to be dedicated to our students is because we have such a small class. We have such a small group of students here. It's not like we have hundreds and hundreds of students. So what that does is it gives us an ability to cater to the needs of our students to an extent that other universities cannot do. We also have a career services department so that once you graduate, we will help actively trying to assist you in getting placed at local law firms in the area. And as Sasha Zadeh was saying, one of the great things about living in Southern California is you're really located in the headquarters of the legal community. You're literally in Orange County. You have 3 million people and a huge number of Fortune 500 companies that are looking for paralegals. Just a 40 to 45-minute drive north, you have Los Angeles County with 10 million people. And just south, an hour and a half, you have San Diego County with about 3 million people. So it goes to show you that we are literally in the headquarters. Within about a 2-hour drive of where we're located, we have about 20 million people who certainly need paralegals. And that's why it's a great thing. There's a lot of resources that we have to try to help place students locally in law firms. And our career office service, aside from assisting you with trying to place you in jobs, will also help review resumes and discuss interview tips so that you can get the job, you'll be prepared to get the job of your dreams, right? A lot about getting a job is not necessarily just grades and how your resume looks and things like that. It's really how you present yourself, how you come off in the interview, just being on time, being prepared, having a resume that really highlights your skills. So what we do at the Career Services Office is we review the resume to make sure that you really put your best foot forward. And once you graduate, you can come back to our Career Services Office. We have an open door policy anytime for our alumni, and they can come back and get any assistance that they need in trying to get a job. Let me tell you a little about myself. My name is Puya Safar. I'm an attorney, and I'm the chair of the paralegal program. So I'm the chair of the paralegal program here at Cal UMS. I am also a member of the faculty. Not only do I teach in the paralegal program, but I've also taught classes in business law, ethics, and sports law for several years. So I teach a wide array of legal courses. I graduated cum laude from the University of California, Berkeley, and I subsequently attended Chapman University School of Law, where I published an article in the Chapman Law Review. A little bit more information about me. I graduated Chapman University School of Law with a doctorate of jurisprudence, which is the legal degree for attorneys. And I'm currently practice law in Anaheim, close by. I'm a member of not only the California State Bar, but also the Federal District Court for the Central District of California. I have volunteered my time at the Legal Aid Society of Orange County and the Public Law Center. So let me tell you a little about the program curriculum and what you can expect if you come to Cal UMS as a paralegal student. So these are the major courses. These are the courses that are required of all students. The first course is called Introduction to Paralegal Studies. So what we do in this course is really just introduce you to the basics of the paralegal profession. What paralegals do, where paralegals work, the basic tasks that paralegals are expected, basic ethical duties that paralegals have, what paralegals can do, what paralegals cannot do. So this is a very helpful course, and it'll be the first course that really students will be required to take, so they have an introduction to the paralegal program, not just throwing them into specific courses. The next class we have is Ethics in the Paralegal Profession. This is one of the most important courses that there are. There's always been an emphasis on ethics in both the legal profession and the paralegal profession. So there's things that you need to know that as a paralegal, there's certain things that you cannot do, like actually practice law in representing clients before court. You cannot accept money from clients. There's certain things that you cannot do as a paralegal, and there's certain responsibilities that you have to the attorney and to the client. And so we review this in great deal in our ethics course, which is mandated. The next class, which we put a huge emphasis on, that unfortunately a lot of schools do not put emphasis on, is legal research and writing. And in legal research and writing, you learn the two most important tools for being a paralegal, or for that matter, for being an attorney, which is research and writing. As you see, when you go and actually practice as a paralegal, that's what you're going to be expected to do most, right? Attorneys will expect you to write a memorandum for them where you summarize an area of law by researching that area of law and writing a 1 to 2 page, or it could even be 10-page memorandum for them, which explains that area of law. So it's so crucial, and that's why it's actually a 2-quarter class at Cal UMS, legal research and writing. And we'll teach you all of the major techniques you need, all of the software that you're going to be using, like Westlaw and other types of software like that. And you're going to be learning how to become really an expert in legal research and writing. The next area is civil litigation for paralegals, right? Even though paralegals cannot specifically litigate cases and represent clients in front of court, actually paralegals have a major role to play in civil litigation. What paralegals do are the behind-the-scenes things that you don't see, in a show like Law and Order, or, in a case like the Casey Anthony trial, right? You don't see what the paralegals are doing. What the paralegals are really doing is the research behind the scenes, the memorandum, the investigations, talking to clients, talking to the police, doing all of the work that the attorneys need to do to be prepared for courts. So paralegals actually have a major role in civil litigation. The next area is business law. Obviously, we have a huge business community in Southern California, and there are a lot of Fortune 500 corporations, as well as smaller corporations that hire paralegals. And one great thing we have about our business law program is we also have a major MBA program here. And so what we do is we integrate the best aspects of our MBA and our business faculty along with our legal faculty to kind of have the best of both worlds. So in the classes you take, such as corporations and business law, in the paralegal program, you're really getting the top-notch faculty, not only from our paralegal program, but also from our business law program. Next is property law, right? Property law encompasses areas such as landlord-tenant law, simple property transactions, selling a car, buying a car, real estate transactions, things like that. So property law is very important, and we place great emphasis on it, as well as learning how to write these documents that are very important, right? How to write a lease, how to write a real estate transaction. So these are important things that we deal with. Wills, trusts, and probate, right? As we're having an aging population, an aging community, as the baby boomer population is growing, there's an increased need for wills, trusts, and probate, essentially documents that protect one's assets and pass it on to their future generation. And so what we will actually do, and there's software for this as well, legal software, is we'll actually create a will. We'll create a trust. will help with preparing these documents so that if you know how to do those, you will be prepared on day one to actually work at an estate planning law firm. And so wills and trusts is all document preparation. So it's an extremely important area for paralegals. The next area is tort law. Tort is just a fancy word for personal injury law. So for example, car accidents, slip and fall cases, dog bite cases. These are all areas of tort law. And obviously in Southern California, with a huge car community of people driving everywhere, traffic, all these cars, there are a lot of car accident cases. So paralegals are hired in large numbers to assist because there's a lot of things you need to do as an attorney, right? Negotiating with insurance companies, talking to police officers, talking to the other sides of the case. There's so much work that a paralegal can do. And criminal law, of course, right? There's also a major criminal demand for criminal law and criminal law representation. So as a paralegal, you can assist a criminal law attorney in, again, interviewing clients, interviewing the opposing side, interviewing witnesses, the police, things like that. And as a paralegal program, we also have many elective courses. And these elective courses are courses that you have flexibility on whether you want to take them or not. One class that many students decide to take is family law, right? Whether it's a good thing or not, in Southern California and much of the United States, we have an extremely high divorce rate compared to other places in the world. I believe it's actually over 50%. So with such a high divorce rate, there's actually a huge demand for family law attorneys and paralegals, because a lot of family law, like many other areas of law, is very paper and document intensive. So we will actually take you to the process of filling out these forms for family law, filling out custody forms, filling out divorce documents, filling out, child support forms. So these are forms that we will help you prepare. And many students enjoy taking family law because there's so much demand in that area of law. Another area, obviously because of the recession that we're in, is bankruptcy law. There's a huge demand in the area of bankruptcy law for attorneys who can prepare. And again, we're going to go through all of the petitions, Chapter 7, Chapter 13. We're going to assist you in every step. Sports law. We have another major area, like business, that we have at Cal UMS, is a very big sports law program. And the great thing about Southern California is there are so many sports teams. There's the Lakers, there's the Dodgers, there's the Angels, there's the Mighty Ducks, there's the Kings, right? There's so many sporting teams, and there's demands for attorneys. All right, sorry for that. We had some technical difficulties. Yeah, so basically what we're going to do is just talk about NALA certification. Again, as I mentioned, NALA certification is the National Association of Legal Assistants. And so what that certification does is it makes you very competitive in the field. We were talking about how you can distinguish yourself from other people and really put yourself in that top 10% of the field that earns $75,000 or more. And one way you can really do that is to have that NALA certification that other people do not have. You will have needed to take a separate exam to get knowledge certification, but it's really worth it because it places you in that top 10% of individuals who have graduated. And law firms will consider you on top of others. So what are the requirements to enter the program? Applicants must have completed at least a high school education. For other requirements that are necessary, you can visit the Cal UMS websites. Now let me turn it over to Sasha Zadeh, the Assistant Dean, so he can tell you a little bit about the admissions process.
So the first step in the admission process is that you have to fill out and submit an application. You can either obtain the application online or at the Cal UMS admissions office. Second step is to submit a copy of your high school diploma and submit an attestation statement and documentation evidencing completion of high school education. The third is paying a $100 non-refundable application fee to the Cal UMS admissions office. Deadlines to apply to the program. Cal UMS is a quarterly system. You can start your classes any quarter. The deadlines are fall quarter, September 31st. Winter is November 1st. Spring is February 1st. And summer is May 1st. Now, how much is the tuition? The tuition is $220 per unit, and it requires 94 units to graduate. However, we have a scholarship, which Puya can explain.
Well, as I mentioned earlier in the presentation, that scholarship is actually 50% off the course tuition, but it only applies to students who apply by the end of September 2014. So you really have to apply to this immediately. We cannot, unfortunately, make exceptions. We've already extended the deadline to September 2014 for fall quarter admissions. So it is 50% off of the course tuition. So instead of the $220 a quarter, you're only going to be spending $110 a quarter. So it is a very substantial saving that we usually don't have to other students. Now let's talk about financial aid. The objective of financial aid is to assist students in paying for educational costs through a variety of aid programs funded by federal and university sources. The Pell Grant is the option we offer to those students who qualify. And the Pell Grant is a federal program that is offered to students in need, meaning who qualify financially, have essentially lower incomes. The Pell Grant amount of $5,730, which is by the government, and unlike a loan, you do not have to repay it because it's a grant. And the great thing about the Pell Grant amount is if you qualify for the Pell Grant amount of the full amount of $5,730, Cal UMS will waive any additional fees for those students. So you will be capped to that amount for your tuition. So that's a great incentive for students who qualify for the Pell Grant. You will not have to pay any out-of-pocket tuition. Again, it will be capped to that amount of $5,730 if you qualify for that amount. If you don't, then you will just have to pay the difference of that. Now, and again, whether you qualify for the Pell Grant or not, we can kind of help you to see if you do qualify for it, but that's something essentially that the federal government handles because it's a federal government program. It is not a program that we handle through the university. But aside from the Pell Grant system, there are many scholarship opportunities that we have at Cal UMS for students based on volunteer activities, need, and merit. So essentially, we have one scholarship for volunteer activities, and there's other scholarships that we have if you need it, as far as if you need the financial assistance, and also for merit. If you finish in the top of the program, then you are eligible for scholarships as well. So in conclusion, why you should study at the paralegal program at Cal UMS. Really, one of the great things is you're studying from experts in law who are actually practicing attorneys in their field of law. So literally attorneys who have just finished essentially going to court or just finished their time in their law firms will be your actual attorneys who you'll be learning from, will be your professors. Next, you get to live in beautiful Southern California, as Assistant Dean Zade said, is that where you are so close to amazing beaches, Disneyland, Hollywood, mountains, and so many other activities. And of course, not only is it great to have those activities, but being so close to really such a great area, you're also exposed to all of the law firms and the paralegal firms that are in the area, and the companies, the large companies that are hiring paralegals. So it's very important. Again, a little bit more detail. You get a practical legal education with an internship component so that you can be prepared to practice as a paralegal upon graduating. And you get to be part of a supportive community where you can share cultural experiences and make new friends. So I really hope that you get to join our family in the paralegal program and really kind of stay with us. So essentially, to stay with us, you can stay in touch. You can actually stay connected and like us on Facebook at facebook.com/California University of Management and Sciences. Again, if you have any questions, feel free to email me at puya.safar@calums.edu. Okay. And
thank you so much.
yeah, thank you so much. And if you have any questions, again, either email me at puya.safar@calums.edu, or please visit the website at www.calums.edu. We look forward to hopefully seeing a lot of you in the upcoming quarter. Thank you. Thanks.